What's up, everybody? I just want to start this video out by saying, fuck you, Jeff Bezos, you lazy-eyed, steroided out, disgusting, bald, little insecure bastard. Man, I just tried to do this video, and I'm pissed because I had to start it over. And no, I don't excuse my language. I don't care. You're offended. You probably already clicked off, but if you're still here, sorry, I offended your little candy ass. Anyways, I wanted to read this story on Washington Post because the title, the headline was, France has recognized a Palestinian state. What does it mean? And I'm trying to educate on what that means. But they tried to make me pay for the article, and that just sent me on a tangent. You shouldn't have to pay for any news. The news should be free because do we not have a fucking right to know the news? Like, why in the world should I have to pay for a newspaper? Operating expenses, whatever. Then do a paid membership for, like, bullshit. I don't know, like, news. I don't know what would be in a paid membership for that news. But this basic stuff like this, you shouldn't have to pay to read this. Like, paywall like the Bloomberg terminals and shit. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, begging me for $1. Like, what? You're Jeff Bezos, you talk about $1? Get the fuck out. Anyways, we're reading from the AP. They don't paywall. Their news is always free. The Associated Press. I love AP. Always have loved AP. I read a lot of papers, but I ain't paying for shit. Unless it's giving me some special perks. But Washington Post wasn't going to give me anything. Alright, anyways. French President Macron says France will recognize Palestine as a state. And that sounds like a big deal. I've never heard, and that's our oldest ally. It's France, you know? They're part of the Western world. I haven't heard any Western country do that. Recognize Palestine as a state. French President Emmanuel Macron, let's say it the real French way. Emmanuel Macron announced Thursday that France will recognize Palestine as a state in a bold diplomatic move amid snowballing global anger over people starving in Gaza. Israel denounced the decision. I'm sure they do. Who cares what they think? They're starving people to death. Those are animals. I'm talking about the Israelis. Macron said in a post on X that he will formalize the decision at the UN General Assembly in September. The urgent thing today is that the war in Gaza stops and that the civilian population is saved. And I know there's going to be at least one slow person out there with a lesser IQ. When I say they're animals, I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about Israelis, because they support this genocide a lot. It's like 8 out of 10 people in Israel support the genocide. That's why their standing is plummeted around the world, why nobody takes them seriously. And I'm not going to limit that to just the Israeli government. There's a lot of bad Israelis, too. I looked at the post. I did a video on it. These people support the genocide because they want to steal that land. That's all they care about. I don't equate Israelis with Jews. I've said that before. There's something wrong with those people. They're like, I don't know what it is. It's just something. I've never seen anything like that. Pretty damn close to demonic. How do you starve your neighbor like that and just go about your business? Like, you can see people crawling on the ground in Gaza, dying from no sustenance, and you got people eating in like gourmet Israeli restaurants like 100 feet away. Like, what the fuck? The mostly symbolic move puts added diplomatic pressure on Israel as the war and humanitarian crisis in the Gaza crisis in the Gaza Strip rage. Oh, war. Okay, war and humanitarian. Okay, sorry, I didn't see the and there. And it's not a war; it's a genocide. It hasn't been a war since like the first week of this. It was never a war, actually, because I think like within the first week, that guy came out and said we're cutting off all food, water, and electricity to Gaza. That's not a war. You can't do that in war. It's called a war crime. France is now the biggest Western power to recognize Palestine. That's what I was thinking. I hadn't heard any Western states do this. Maybe there have been. 140 countries recognize Palestinian state. Wow, a dozen in Europe? Why does nobody talk about this? Anyways, recognize Palestine, the move that could pave the way for other countries to do the same. More than 140 countries recognize the Palestinian state, including more than a dozen in Europe. They're probably like tiny little states. The Palestinians seek an independent state in the occupied West Bank, annexed East Jerusalem and Gaza. Territories Israel occupied in the 1967 Mideast War. Israel's government and most of its political class have long been opposed to a Palestinian statehood and now say that it would reward militants after. That's not what it does at all. Like how are they still talking about Hamas? Nobody believes this anymore. Like, you talk about, do you still condemn Hamas? Like, talking to Mahmoud Khalil, like, bro, you're living in 2023 and it's really embarrassing. You look really low IQ talking like that. We strongly condemn President Macron's decision The modern day Adolf Hitler said, such a move rewards terror and risks creating another Iranian proxy just as Gaza became. A Palestinian state in these conditions will be it pains me to read this, will be a launch pad to annihilate Israel, not to live in peace beside it, says the modern day Adolf Hitler. The Palestinian Authority welcomed it. A letter announcing the move was presented Thursday to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Jerusalem. We express our thanks and appreciation to Macron, Hussein al-Sheikh, I love the PLO. I wish they were running Gaza. Things wouldn't be the way they are. But then again, they'd never be allowed to run it because things wouldn't be the way they are. The PLO's vice president under Abbas posted, this position reflects France's commitment to international law and its support to the Palestinian people's right to self-determination. They provided a lot of bombs to Israel. Don't give France too much credit. I love France. Our oldest ally, like I said, spent many years learning French. I still like to dabble in that culture, a bit of a Francophile myself, but man, this is really disappointing. I think after us, Germany, Canada, France gave a lot of arms. The United States strongly rejects Macron's plan to recognize the Palestinian state, Secretary of State Marco Rubio wrote in a post on the social platform Twitter. This reckless decision only serves Hamas propaganda and sets back peace. It's a slap in the face, blah, 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 blah. With Europe's largest Jewish population and the largest Muslim population in Western Europe, France has often seen fighting in the Middle East spill over into protests or other changes at home. I did not know the largest Jewish and Muslim population was in France. See, I saw some idiot leave a racist comment yesterday, and they were like, what's the capital of the UK? It was a quiz, and they were like, UK is the Muslim, they said, what's London the capital of? He said, the Muslim capital of the world. And it's actually France, dumbass. Anyways, the French president, I'm shocked the racist was stupid. And you know what I told him? I said, you're the racist capital of jackassery. Fucking stupid piece of shit. The French president offered support for Israel after the October 7 attacks and frequently speaks out against anti-Semitism, but has grown increasingly frustrated about Israel's war in Gaza. Given its historic commitment to a just and sustainable peace in the Middle East, I have decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine. Peace is possible. Wow. Man, you should see a smile on my face right now. I didn't like Macron. I don't think his own country likes him. His approval is like the 20s and 30s, but at least last time I looked at it. But this is bigger than politics. This is crazy, and massive respect to him for this. Thursday's announcement came soon after the U.S. cut short Gaza ceasefire talks in Qatar, saying Hamas wasn't showing good faith. Yes, Hamas. It also came days before France and Saudi Arabia are co-hosting a conference at the UN next week about a two-state solution. Last month, Macron expressed his determination to recognize the state of Palestine and has pushed for a broader movement towards a two-state solution in parallel with recognition of Israel and its right to defend itself. I wish there was a one-state solution. I wish the one-state solution was possible, but it'll never happen now. Thanks to Benjamin Netanyahu, the modern-day Adolf Hitler. Momentum has been building against Israel in recent days. Earlier it's been months. I did a poll months ago. It was like 40 countries. Everybody had a negative view of Israel, except 2 countries in Africa, like Nigeria and I can't remember the other one. Some other Zionist state. Earlier this week, France and more than 24 most European countries condemned Israel's restrictions on aid shipments into the territory and the killings of hundreds of Palestinians trying to reach food. French leader says France will recognize the Palestinian state. France is the latest country in Europe to support a Palestinian state. The diplomatic move comes amid growing global anger over Israel's war conduct. Why do you keep calling it a war? Are they afraid? It's not a fucking war. The one side doesn't have fucking uniforms. They're just children. Over half of the population is children. You understand? It's not a fucking war. 90% dead civilians. Not a war. I know what the fuck a war is. That ain't it. Macron will join the leaders of Britain and Germany for emergency talks Friday in Gaza. how to get food to the hungry, and how to stop fighting. You notice that the United States is missing from that. You could do a lot of good. Britain, Germany, France, and U.S. could show a lot of leadership. But of course, look who our president is. A fucking pedophile. We're clear that statehood is the inalienable right of the Palestinian people. A ceasefire will put us on a path to the recognition of a Palestinian state and a two-state solution which guarantees peace and security for Palestinians. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Kid Starver, said in announcing the call, "The suffering and starvation unfolding in Gaza is unspeakable." Man, where were these people years ago? Why were you not speaking out years ago, Keir Starmer, you piece of shit? Jeremy Corbyn would have spoke out. But you kicked him out of the party for being an anti-Semite. Israel annexed East Jerusalem shortly after the 1967 war and considers it part of its capital. In the West Bank, it has built scores of settlements, some resembling sprawling suburbs, that are now home to over 500,000 Jews. The territory's 3 million Palestinians lives under Israeli rule, with the Palestinian Authority exercising limited autonomy in populated centers. The last serious peace talks broke down in 2009 when Netanyahu returned to power. That's why it broke down. This motherfucker's a demon. And next to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, man, Netanyahu's like number 3 for me on that fucking list of people I'd love to knock off if I had any kind of power. Like the ultimate power. Don't mean president, I'd knock you off. Like a fucking... Let's just stop. The last year's peace talks broke down in 2009 when Netanyahu returned to power. It's not like Trump would be alive anyways if I were ever president in like 20 years. Neither would Netanyahu for that matter. Elon, the way he's going, he'd probably be overdosed. But I'm coming for him. Most of the international community considers the establishment of a viable Palestinian state alongside Israel to be the only realistic solution to the century-old conflict. All right, here you go, guys. Massive respect to Emmanuel Macron. I have massive respect for him now. He's cool. I always wanted to like him. He's got a good look. And I like France. And I've liked the French. I liked Nicolas Hollande was really hated. He was like, there was a lot of optimism for him at first because he was a socialist. And I don't know if France had a socialist president for a long time. But he came in, a lot of optimism. But he also got scuttled. They wouldn't pass any of his stuff. So he wanted to tax the rich at a much higher level than they wound up, enacting. But yeah, of course, there you go. That's what happens when you have a socialist leader with no parliament in there, and on their fighting for their legislation. He came around too early, I think, Nicolas Hollande. Anyways, that's it, guys. Who was after Hollande? It was let's just find out. I mean, this video's already long. Who cares? Actually, Hollande was a prime minister. No. Hollande was president, I guess. Who has the power? Is it the president? I think the prime minister is a figurehead in France. It's like, you never know, because like in Israel, the prime minister has the power, the president's a puppet. But in other countries, it's reversed. I don't understand it. Okay, anyways, list of French presidents. Okay, yeah, Hollande was before Macron. Yeah, Nicolas Sarkozy was who I was thinking of. Did he die? Nah, he's not dead. Oh, I thought he was dead. Oh, he's just a criminal. Found guilty of having tried to bribe a judge. Oh, he's not dead. He's just in jail. Anyways, that's it, guys. Jacques Chirac. That was the president from my childhood. All right, guys. This is see ya. God bless. And Emmanuel Macron. We're going to get a Palestinian state one day. Just keep holding on.